Welcome to the Shoegazing 93 channel, the channel that still hasn't got a tagline. So I need to rectify
work
this.
on that.
And today,
are you not the channel that celebrates? Are you not the channel that celebrates yourself?
Yeah, that's right. The channel that celebrates itself,
Rectify.
but it's not as funny as Phil. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
No, let's not dwell on that, viewers. So today we've got Phil and Ben here. Not the flower pot men, but the music men. And the Full Record Jacket is their channel, Phil and Ben Full Record Jacket, and they talk everything music, particularly the 90s and the 60s, which the latter Phil is old enough to remember. No, not really, only joking.
Absolutely.
That's the 1860s.
Yeah, and we got Ben, the biggest Oasis fan in England, probably.
In my house. Biggest Oasis fan in my house.
Yeah, and if he swung the camera around, you would see the extent of his collection. Pretty remarkable stuff.
Yes, you would. Yeah. So there's a few things lying around.
So
can I just say, Ben, you've sunk down, Ben. Your eye level is much lower than mine. It makes me look ridiculously taller than you. Oh, that's better.
Is that better?
That's much more in line. Yeah. Sorry, Sam.
So, yes, I brought these two geezers on today to talk about the future of Oasis. So, they've already covered like fantasy set lists already for the reunion show. So, what I was thinking was extending it to, are they going to drop an album? Are they going to do a Nebworth anniversary tour in 2026? So, things like that, really. Little rumor shenanigans.
I think yes and yes.
Well, I heard something. Sorry, Ben, you tell us first because you're the expert.
I was going to say, I think Noel has probably got a lot of songs that he has written that he knows he can't sing, but he can sing them, but they won't have that oomph. I would be very surprised if they go through all this. And I know the Stone Roses did it in 2012. You know, they toured, reformed. I know they released a couple of singles, but never did an album. I would be very surprised if there isn't an album come out at the back of this. There'll obviously be a live album. I think that will happen. And I think that there has to be an album. I think there is probably too much material in Noel Gallagher's head not to have an album. And I think they will do Nebworth because the money will talk. And I think they will want to beat Robbie Williams' 3 Nights at Nebworth.
Yeah, that still lingers. Yeah, that 2003 record needs to be broken.
Yeah. And I think they will easily do it. If they turn around and say we're going to do 5 nights at Nebworth, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, or did it over 2 weekends?
Given the demand that there has been, I can see that may be possible. I can't really disagree with that because hasn't Noel Gallagher more or less said something about having these songs that are not suited to his voice? Hasn't he more or less said something about that?
I think there's an article saying he's got one stadium album and one sort of more subtle one or something, acoustic-based one.
Yeah, because he was going to try and release an acoustic album this year, but obviously other bigger things have got in the way of that.
Yeah, and I would also have thought that Noel Gallagher, having had some acclaim recently for his Council Skies album, and obviously seeing that Liam's solo career has gone pretty well, that to do an Oasis reunion and not have a new record would seem just like a cash-in and would sort of maybe look as if they were just doing it for the money and nothing else as a nostalgia act. Whereas if they have a new record, then it makes them look as if they are. There's an artistic reason for doing it as well.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm the only one who feels this, but I do feel slightly not uncomfortable about the whole. I mean, I'm glad it's happening. I'm going to the first night in Cardiff, but you know what it's like when you know a couple and they've had a messy breakup, and you've kind of. I've never taken. So I've bought both of their. So I have both of their back catalogue of solo stuff. You know, and then they get back together, and you've spent a lot of time slagging one of them off to the other person, and now they're back together. It's almost like, oh, this kind of feels a bit odd, if you know what I mean, because of all the soap opera behind it. It almost feels a little bit odd, if that makes. Maybe it's my ADHD telling me that it's odd, but it does feel kind of like it's brilliant, but it's also odd at the same time. That sort of weirdly uncomfortableness that you sat in the room with two people who were slagging each other off the other week.
I'll tell you what I did see on some posts online in a Noel Gallagher fan group. As you know, I'm not a sort of a die-hard fan of Noel or Liam. I do enjoy Oasis a lot. I did at the time, still enjoy their stuff now, and I can enjoy stuff by both of them. And I find Noel very interesting when he's interviewed because I've always quite liked his honesty. And Liam I find amusing. Liam to me is kind of a bit of almost a
They're
comedy
both
character.
Incredibly funny people.
Yeah, they're both amusing. So I enjoy them both. But I think what was interesting is some of these Noel fans who go to his gigs and everything are they almost like they're not happy about him doing this Oasis thing because it means that he's now going to become harder to access because at the moment they go to his concerts which are not as big and they can get near the front and they can they've got this sort of relationship with Noel when they get up close to him and go to his gigs, and now he's going to be much further away, untouchable on this massive stage with Oasis, and they're actually they want Noel back. Yeah, they want solo. They prefer to have solo Noel. That's an interesting angle on it, isn't it? With all these people getting super excited about the reunion, that there are fans that don't want it.
I experienced that firsthand as well when I saw Noel Gallagher with Ride they played in Taunton in Somerset, 2023 last year, and I was trying to get to the front for Ride for the support act. And there are lots of snobby fans like telling me to get back, and they were like, "What are you doing, pushing in like that?" And I was only trying to be there for the support act, and then I was going to go back again, further back. But they weren't having any of it. So
Noel has seen Andy Bell then since the split up.
It was a good gig. That was
yeah.
But yeah.
So I look on it as a kind of selfish thing of. It's like when you're a kid and your parents split up and you're like, oh, God, this is the worst thing ever. But then you get to your mid-40s and realise that you've got 2 houses to inherit. So you're kind of like, do you know what? I like the fact that at least once a year I'm going to get a Noel Gallagher album and I'm going to get a Liam Gallagher album. And sometimes it's even quicker than that because Liam Gallagher will do something with John Squire. So I can't see them getting back together and not releasing an album because I think with the tour and everything, it will push out any solo work a bit further. Yeah, so I think it will need an album. I think the people need it. I think Noel has become a better, more accomplished songwriter since. I mean, let's face it, his songwriting wasn't bad. It was better than mine, and it was certainly better than, I don't know.
It was better than
Bill
mine
Wyman's.
as well.
Yeah, it's
not that I've ever written a song, but it's definitely better than me.
Yeah. But I think it has massively improved, and I would love to see what that album would sound like now. Would it be a harp back to the 90s, or would it be something of now which is of its time? Who knows?
And I think that's
possibly.
Also, they've done 7 albums, Oasis, haven't they? So the Beatles, what did they do? Was it 9 albums altogether? 9 studio albums?
Well, there's at least 10, isn't there? There's 10, 12. Depends which ones you count. Or depends whether you count Magical Mystery Tour as an album.
Yeah, and Love and with the Beatles, the B-sides collections. But, I'm just talking about the proper studio ones, so from 63 to 69. And what I'm trying to say is I think that Oasis they would love to equal their heroes tally, wouldn't they, of like 10 albums? And I reckon they would go for that, wouldn't they?
I think they've probably got enough material there to create those albums if the demand is there for it, and if they both feel like they need it. Because I suppose that's the one thing that Noel Gallagher has said for a long time, is that he didn't need to do this. He didn't need going. He didn't want to look back. He didn't want to sort of,
There's an article that came out like a week ago. It said Paul McCartney was pivotal in getting Oasis back, because he said something about John Lennon, because when John passed away, Paul's biggest regret was was not saying to John, let's reunite the Beatles. That was his biggest regret. So he said to the Gallaghers, don't have any regrets. Don't make any regrets.
Yeah. And also £500 million is a sweetener as well.
Yeah, it certainly helps.
But are they going to keep this? Are they going to keep this going? Is this just going to be a brief reunion? They're going to go back to solo, or are they going to continue? I'm not going to say stay together the whole time, but are they going to periodically do Oasis tours?
Yeah, it's a good question. That is the $1 million question.
Are they effectively? What I'm saying is, after. They often talked about idolising the Beatles, but are they now going to become the Rolling Stones?
Yeah, where they have periods of good stuff and then not so good. They kind of,
Well, and just keep going. Yeah, just never actually split and just keep doing these mega tours every now and again, and maybe make a
hiatus kind of band.
But
then again, I suppose it could be a bit like Blur and Damon Albarn, where every 6 to 10 years you get a new Oasis album, but it's supplemented every couple of years with a solo album, etc. It's a whatever it's going to be mega, isn't it? Let's face it, it's got to be better than listening to Adele.
It'll be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what the gigs are like. It's going to be interesting to see if they really have patched up the differences, and whether are they going to actually spend time together, or is this all a complete business thing where they just turn up?
Yeah, because they've not done any interviews, have they?
No, I mean, they haven't been hanging around together. At the moment, I'm getting the impression, is this kind of like the Everly Brothers, where they're tolerating each other, but they're not spending too much time together, and they're arriving separately. Are they going to arrive separately?
Don't want to risk that £500 million.
Yeah, they're not going to be in a hotel room together, are they? They're not going to be top and tailing in the bed in the hotel room, or sitting next to each other on the tour bus. They're not going to be they're not going to be that close, are they? They're going to be They're going to be both living in their separate, cosseted realities.
I like to think though that they're old enough now to stick each other, to realise they're brothers and put up with each other. You would like to think they're old enough now.
Because they need each other, and they believe in one another. See what I did there? I took an Oasis lyric.
Beautiful skills.
Time will uncover the answers to all these questions.
Yeah, definitely. So I think they will do Nebworth. I think there will be a new album, and I think they will still continue to do their solo stuff.
Yeah. And that James Hargreaves video, if you saw it, he sort of did a similar thing where he was discussing whether a new album was going to come, and he posted images of them in France. Liam's home in the south of France has a studio with it, apparently. And there's been like reports of Liam and Noel sort of exiting the house with all the guitars, all the gear. So that's what they've been recording it.
When you say gear, do you mean equipment?
I mean equipment, but probably a bit of both. Probably, yeah. No doubt those cases had other substances in there.
Yeah. Yeah. They're of an age now where it'll be ibuprofen gel.
Yeah, as Phil will know. Yeah.
Yeah. You're getting bullied, Phil. You're getting bullied.
Just trying to add a bit of humour to the channel, that's all. But maybe I'm taking it a bit too far, I don't know.
No, you're not. Trust me. You can never go too far.
The Dracula man over there dressed in red. Someone get him his black cape.
Well, on my, I did say when we were off air earlier that on my screen, because of the feed rate, U2 goes slightly blurry. He does look like he's got a roll neck, red neck jumper on it. He's proper set for Christmas. Didn't you? The Lex Luthor at Christmas. That's a great album. Sorry, Phil. Phil, I am genuinely sorry. I don't mean any.
I'm just letting you dig yourself deeper and deeper, Ben.
I know. And then he's going to come around and bite my neck later.
Christopher Lee style.
You have to find underneath all my chins, Phil.
Ben's wearing his like Britpop parka there. That's almost a parka with the big roll neck thing.
Because I'm cool. Yeah. I'm stuck in the 90s, and I'm having it.
Like maybe leaning forward to the microphone with his hands behind his back, going maybe like that.
If I did that and even attempted to sing, it would sound like somebody's just hot wired a pneumatic drill. But yeah, that's my views on the Oasis.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting about. So Nebworth.
I think it will be. Yeah.
Where do you go after that? You know, I mean, that would probably be it, won't it? I mean, you can't really go any higher than that. I mean, maybe they could do.
I don't think, can you?
I'm trying to think what else they could do. Some kind of Woodstock in America, or if they do another.
Do they
one.
have the other question? Just popped another question into my head. Do they have ambitions? I know they do have a fan base in the US, but I believe their fan base is mainly amongst people that are quite into music and bands that, you know, they're not as known to the mainstream public like they are over here. Are they never effectively conquered America. So are they going to try and do that now? Are they going to be the first band to come back 30 years later and be bigger internationally on the second wave than they were the first time?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Because I think their music has grown in popularity internationally over the last 20, 30 years. And they have got fans in, Japan, Far East,
Europe.
So
South America always go mad for them. Have you seen that?
I don't know how.
2009 Argentina video
massive.
where Noel's like crying, isn't he? On Don't Look Back in Anger, he sort of sheds a tear because of the crowd reaction. Like, you just can't believe it.
Yeah. I think a lot of the Western acts, when they go, if they're well-known Western acts, when they go to Latin America, get a massive response. So maybe they will do that. Maybe they'll do Brazil.
Yeah, actually, South America is already confirmed. Like last week, I saw.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
And they're doing Rock in Rio as well in Brazil.
So that's going to be the other thing. So that will be interesting. Are they popular in Australia? What's the fan level in Australia?
I tell you what, I can ask that question because I've got an Australian upstairs in my house at the moment.
Right, find out, because I guess
they are.
Australia does pick up cultural stuff from Britain, don't they? They perhaps sometimes they pick up more stuff from Britain than the Americans do.
Yeah, they are going.
Let me ring an Australian.
Sydney and Melbourne's confirmed as dates.
How big are Oasis in Australia? I mean, are they as big as In Excess were? Are they as big as In Excess or Midnight Oil or whoever Men at Work, who else was from Australia?
Crowded House.
Are they as big as Kylie
Crowded
Minogue?
House. The Vines.
Yeah.
Silverchair.
Is Aidan there?
Yeah.
Well, bring him here, Seth. Dude, you're Australian, aren't you?
Good day, mate.
Come into the living room a second. I've got that question to ask you. Right, I've got an Australian just over here. And the question was, what was the question, Phil?
How big are Oasis in Australia?
How big are Oasis in Australia?
Yeah,
They're big?
They're known. They're quite, they're
bigger.
I wouldn't say they're the biggest band in Australia.
But they're the best band.
They're pretty big bands.
Are they bigger than Silverchair?
Oh, I wouldn't put them past AC/DC, but
Kylie Minogue, Danny Minogue.
Kylie Minogue and Danny Minogue are bigger over here than they are in Australia.
Yeah, there we go. So they're not as popular as AC/DC, but they're bigger than Danny Minogue. There we go. That's a view from an Australian. You wanted Australians. I got you Australians.
You did. You got it quicker than anyone could have imagined.
There you see. Look at that. Look at that. You see, you want. Ask me if they're big in China. Go on.
Are Oasis big in China?
Just so happens I've got a Chinaman upstairs. No, I haven't really. What do I think? This isn't the United Nations, is it? Yeah. I've got an Australian here, and I'm having to keep an eye on because he keeps trying to nick loads of bread.
I was going to say, is Ben working at the Home Office or something?
Yeah. I'm just getting illegal immigrants in to do my chores because I can't be bothered. Oh God, I forgot I've got two in it in fact, Praiwan, Oasis big in Thailand. You've heard of them in Thailand? Are they popular in Thailand? Think so. See, look at this. I am answering the questions from across the globe. I have literally, I'm conquering Asia and Oceania right now. So it's 50.
Have you got anyone from Antarctica in there, or could ask a penguin perhaps, see if they're big in Antarctica?
Oh. Yeah, a penguin's big in Thailand.
I didn't ask that. I said
they're bigger than Praiwan anyway.
You got anyone from?
She did say though,
the Cook Islands.
She did say it's easier to meet people. Yeah, or the Falklands, somewhere like that. She did say it's easier to meet famous people in Thailand because they're not as popular than it is to meet them here. So, yeah. There we go.
See, global band, yeah.
What are you two bringing to the table? Nothing. What am I bringing to the table? This face and knowledge from across the globe.
Bringing food and drink to the table. That's what me and Phil are doing.
Yeah.
That's it.
What's this, like the Last Supper?
Guys, I'm going to have to go. I'm really sorry, but it's been fascinating to discuss Oasis.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. We will catch up with you another day, Samuel.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, dudes, and have a great night and everything.
No worries.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah. And you guys and all those Shoegaze viewers out there.
Yeah, so from Shoegaze in 93. So
check out our channel.
It's a bye from me, and I still need to come up with an outro tagline now.
Yeah, we'll think of one for you, don't you worry. Phil's good at